Alright guys, here it is. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to remove these covers right here. Now Jimmy, yeah, the guys who out there that don't know who Jimmy is our customer. He's the owner of this vehicle. Jimmy watching our videos too. He's a good customer because I asked, what was that video we did?
You beg when customers get the wrong part.
Yeah, when customers get their own parts. Alright, check it out. Let's remove this cover right here. First of all, we're supposed to have 4 T25 bolts, screws, but we only got 2. So we're gonna get our pawl driver, and we got our little bit up here. Guys, come over here and get this. Guys, you have definitely got to get this. I don't give shout outs too much for parts and all that, for tools. But go to Harbor Freight. And get you one of these sets right here, this bit set. This thing is great. This thing will save you a lot of money. But to make it effective, you got to get you a pawl driver. Yeah, buddy. All right, let's go over here. And I said there's supposed to be 4, but there's only 2. So we're gonna buzz those 2 out. Take this cover off. And this one slides into here, into this one. Then there's supposed to be clips, one right here and one right here. There is one right here, but the piece that goes in there is missing. So when you go in there to turn it, it ain't locking in anything. So we need to get both these parts off. And what we're going to do, guys, is what's called the party line. When you're doing a big job, something like this, to not get yourself confused, every time you take off some parts, you want to put them. What we're going to do is put them over here. So as we take off a part, we put it in the line, and then we're going to put this job back together. We start from this end of the line, so in that way you don't get nothing all confused. You got a bunch of junk and all that. And this car's going to be down a while, so once we finish this line, we're going to put these parts inside the house. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright guys, the next thing you do, grab this bit out of your set, hook that up to your pawl driver, and what you want to do is get you a 10mm 1/4" drive deep socket. Why? I'm about to tell you why. You got 4 bolts. We're going to remove this top cover right here. So you got 4 10mm bolts that you got to take out. So let's take those bolts out, and we'll be right back. Okay, next thing we do, take the cover, take it out, and let's put that to the side. We'll be right back. Alright guys, the next thing we're going to do is over here, that cap right here, that's for your antifreeze cap. What I want you to do is unscrew that so you can let air out of the system. Put it to the side. Alright, we're going to go up under the vehicle. We got a drain pan over here on the passenger side. You want to go up under here. You got your drain pan. Make sure your drain pan is nice and clean. And you're going to have a little drain screw right there. Open that drain screw up. And you're going to start getting the antifreeze come out of there. Let the system drain out. We'll be right back. Alright guys, while that's down there draining, we're going to remove our air tube right here with our mass airflow sensor. So first we want to disconnect it. This mass airflow sensor has 2 connectors on both sides. And that's all you do is squeeze them in and unplug it. Both sides, squeeze them in, unplug it. Then you got 2 latches right here. Sometimes, now you can get your finger in there sometimes and pop them off. If not, get a screwdriver. Where's the other one at? The other one happened to be popped down already. Then you want to take you a flat screwdriver and you want to loosen up this clamp right here. And take your screwdriver. Be very careful. This is plastic right here. What you want to do is just go ahead and pop that hose off. And then you can work this thing off. Take it off. And put that to the side. We'll be right back. Alright guys, the next thing we're going to do, you know what? Intermission time. Let's hear an uncle joke from Sylvia.
What did the horse say to the scarecrow?
What?
Hey!
Alright, let's get back to work. Alright, the next thing we do, guys, we're going to remove this hose from the top of the radiator going to the expansion tank. What you do is get your flat screwdriver, and on this side, it's got a little clamp. You're going to loosen that clamp up. And then on this side, get you a smaller screwdriver, and there's a little opening right there. What you want to do is take the screwdriver and you want to pop that opening up. Don't take it off completely, just well, that one came off, but dang it. It just pops, it's supposed to pop right up. You know, I don't care. Take it off. Take it off, guys. There we go. Pop up like that. Then, don't twist it. This thing gotta work off, it's gotta come off straight, just like that, because there's lines in it, so it has to line up. So if you twist it, you're gonna break it. Then you're gonna pull this off, take this whole line off, and let's put that on the party line. We'll be right back. Alright guys, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna remove this upper radiator hose. Now this upper radiator hose has a little connection right here that goes down. So what we gotta do is over here, this one has a clip, just like the other one. So we'll go in here with our little screwdriver, pop that clip out. Over here, this one, pop it up. Let's switch the sides now. And then, down here to this one. Where is it at? There it is. We're gonna pop that up. Okay, once you get that all popped up,
That's fine.
I'm gonna have to hold this in place. And remember, do not twist it or you'll break it. So you gotta actually try to work that out. Dang, still antifreeze coming out here. Just a little. You know what? Let me hold on guys. Let me put this back up here. Let me go get that drain pan and bring it over here so I have a mess. I'll be right back. Alright, got my pan up under there. Whoops, let me move it over a little bit more. Okay. Disconnect it from here. Then up to the top ones. Let that one out. And then this one over here. And take this hose out. Whoa, look, thing's connected. Again, dang it. Dang it! Alright, it's got another. I didn't see that. Let me get a light. I'll be right back. Alright guys. I didn't see this thing connected up under here. So what we're gonna do, move this hose out of the way right here. And right there, we gotta go in here and pop that clamp out of there. There's some, you know what? Let's get this whole thing out of the way. I'm tempted to take, you know, we're gonna get all this out of here. Let's go over here.
Hey, you know, I just thought of something. Maybe there's something we should have mentioned in the beginning of the video.
What?
Because this vehicle has two different options on this alternator, right? Air-cooled or water-cooled.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
So this vehicle has a water-cooled alternator. So is the air-cooled procedure different?
Oh, heck yeah. A lot different.
So there you go. This is for water-cooled alternators only.
I'll make sure I put that in the description also. There's a lot of antifreeze coming out here. Dang it. Pop these hoses off over here. Alright. Now, let's get this one out of the way. Now, over here, this hose, and what we're going to do is make sure we know this one right here goes to there, and over here is the hose is going over here. Let's pop this clip out and then work that off. Get that one out of the way, and then we can get in here and get this one out of the way. That thing is right. There we go. Okay, let's take both of these hoses and put them in the party line. We'll be right back. Alright guys, the next thing we do is remove the fan. This is probably going to be one of the most difficult parts of this job, but I'm going to show you how to do it. Now, what you want to do is get a special tool, go to AutoZone. Probably they won't have it at all, then you suck. Alright, but what you're going to do is grab you a 1 1/4 inch drive wrench. And you can see the nut right there on the fan clutch. You want to put that right there. Now, usually to tighten this up, you would be going like this. Tighten it right here. But this is reverse threads, which means to tighten it, you'll be going counterclockwise. So we're gonna be loosening it, so we're gonna be going like we're tightening it. Yeah, that's good. All right. What you're gonna do now is make sure you get you a nice, good hammer. And we got here's a nice carpenter's hammer. Now this is the reason why I got the hoses and all out the way, because you're gonna be hitting this hammer this way and you don't want to damage the hose. So, but before I start hitting this, let's hear another uncle joke from Civvy.
Oh man, I wasn't ready.
You wasn't ready, huh?
Okay, I got one. What do rappers use to pick up leaves?
What do rappers use to pick up leaves? I don't know what.
Drake.
Drake?
Yeah.
Boo!
It's an uncle joke. What do you expect?
That's an uncle joke. All right, let's get this. Now, guys, sometimes this is very difficult to do, but you're going to have to keep on hitting. And you're going to have to let it stay there and give it a good whack. Bam! Look at that, guys. Pop that right loose just like that. And it's loose. So I'm going to go ahead, continue to spin it, and take that fan right off. Be right back. Alright guys, we got the fan off, and you want to carefully work your fan out of there. Alright, let's put this to the party line, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, the next thing to do, grab back your pawl driver. And get your adapter right here, snap it in there, and you want to get your T30 Torx bit. Put it in there, because the next thing we're going to do, this cover right here, we're going to remove it. And it's held on by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Missing one here. That one's loose. This one loose. 7, 8, 9. There's a bunch of bolts around here. I don't know. Dang it. But as you can see, it stops right along the line right there. So that's all you have to do. Just go ahead along the line and take all the bolts out. All right, let's take them all out and we'll be right back. All right, guys, we got all the bolts out. Pick your cover up. Bam. Let's put this and everything right to the party line. We'll be right back. Alright guys, the next thing we're going to do, we got to remove this top cover, this bolts that holds this in. You got a sensor right over here. What you want to do is grab the whole sensor and pull it back this way and up. Pull it back this way, pick the back up, it comes right out. Because you got these tabs right here that's holding it into place. Just lean that to the side, we're not going to need that. This wiring harness right here, pop that wiring harness out, just lean to the side, just like that. Now the next bit you're going to need is a T25. We got to take out 2 screws. One right here, and on the other side, which is nice and easier to see, take out there. So grab it onto your pole driver, and let's take those screws out. We'll be right back. Alright guys, we got those 2 out. Now you're going to get your long extension on your bit, or I'm using a T25 Torx handle screwdriver, and you got one right there, and over here, you got one right there. So let's go in there and take those 2 out. It's good if you have one with a magnetic tip so you can, so it won't drop down in there. Screw won't drop down there. All right, let's get those out and we'll be right back. All right, guys, you are looking good, man. I am definitely proud of you guys and girls. Yeah, buddy. If you followed me up to this point. The next thing we're gonna do, we got our wiring harness over here. Make sure your wiring harness is moved over to the side, and because we're gonna start picking this whole thing up. And carefully walk this thing over here. Oh, that's right. I forgot to tell you about this. You see this right here? These latches fold into the fan. Forgot about that. Get this one over here. And we pick right up. And again, this one, you're going to have to fold in to get it past that neck on the radiator. This one will not. All right, we are good to go. Now, we could have took off this, looks like, but we didn't need to take off that bolt. Leave that on there. All right, let's put this on the party line, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, look at that. There's our alternator right there. But we are nowhere near taking this out yet. Yeah, buddy, we got more work to do. All right, guys, next thing we're going to do... What the heck are you laughing for? The next thing we're going to do, guys, is jack the vehicle up on the driver's side and get a jack stand up under it. We'll be right back. All right, guys, before we do that, we're going to remove this cooler out of the way. Now, if you're looking on instructions online and all that, they tell you to disconnect the line, disconnect this line and that line. Forget that. Do not listen to that. And actually, some of the instructions tell you to remove the radiator. Do not listen to that. Follow my video. Tell them Astro told you. All right. So what you're going to do is, up under here, can you see my finger?
Yeah.
There's a little tab right here.
Oh, I can't see the tab though.
But when you're going to push that tab goes up to here.
Because you blocking the light.
That tab goes up to that little clip right in there. And it's just like a hose clamp. So I'm going to reach my hand up under here. And watch that move. But you pull down. Dang it. Let me get there we go.
How is it supposed to watch that move?
Yeah, I don't think you watch it. It's down there. You see it moved. It moved. All right. Once you get that down, and I'll show you when I pick it out. The bottom part of it is going to come out, and then up here is hooked on. So you got to take the bottom part and work that out, just like that, and pick it up to get it off this, over this little latch right there, hook, just like that. So let's bring this over to the side, and I'm gonna show you what I mean. Dang it, I'm gonna spill antifreeze everywhere. Let's go right here to right here. And this is the latch I was telling you about, right here. Pull it up to lock it into place, and like that to unhook it, and then pull it off. All right, let's stick this to the side, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, we are up under the car. Check this out. Got our jack stand for security. Definitely don't get up under here without it. And over there, I left my hydraulic jack there just as added security. Enough of talk. Let's get right to it. First of all, you got your power steering lines that's going over here. And here is your stabilizer bar. This stabilizer bar is in the way of getting two bolts out. So what you want to do is, first of all, you got a 10mm nut right there. So grab your pole driver with your 10mm socket on it. And I got a deep 3/8 drive. And I'm going to buzz that off. Then pick it up. Just let that hang out the way. The next thing you're going to do, which I forgot to do, on this part you're going to need a jack stand, because we're going to drop this, but we're not going to disconnect any lines. So you don't need it to drop all the way. You just need to get out the way just a little bit. But before you do that, it's held on by some nuts here. And I think this is, you know, it's 12 or 13mm. Okay, 13mm nuts. One right here. There's one right above it. You're not going to really see that one, but we're going to get to it. So you're going to need a deep 13mm socket, 3/8 drive, with a swivel extension, 3/8 drive. I like to put black tape on mine so it keeps it kind of sturdy. And what I'm going to do here is get a 12-inch 3/8 drive extension. Let's go to the top one first. You can pretty much see up there somewhat.
Yeah, it just says dark. Oh. Yeah, I can see it now.
Okay, so we're going to go up there and get that top one first. Get our pole driver. And buzz that right off. Okay, you got one. And let's take off this one. We'll be right back. Alright guys, now we're on this side. And we got our power steering line out of the way. And one nut is up under here. Can you get that one? Mm-hmm. The other one is further up. So let's get to that first one up to the top. Same setup. And go between the lines just like I am. Alright, get that on there. Get our pole driver. You can tell I love this pole driver. Dang it. And it won't work. So what I'm going to do is get my 3/8 drive ratchet. Be right back. Alright guys, got my 3/8 drive ratchet here. Let's get back on that bolt. And I can get some more leverage. That's all I'm gonna do is just break it loose. Well, to get on that nut. Okay, I'm gonna break that one loose, and then I'm gonna get the one at the bottom. All right, now I'm gonna use my pole driver and go ahead and take both of them off. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we got 4 nuts out. Got my jack stand right here, because I said, do not let that thing hang. Pay attention to me. All right, so what you're gonna do is grab on to the stabilizer bar. Now, at the end of these, you don't have to disconnect these parts over here. Don't worry about it, it'll swing over. So just grab it, and it's gonna come right out of there.
Is it?
Yeah, it's supposed to. There we go. All right. Bring that down. Let's bring it down a little bit more. Actually, it ain't gonna. Good, left it up there. That's pretty good right there. All right, let's get us a little light in here. Make sure we can see those 2 bolts. Yeah, we can. Yeah, buddy. I mean, this could be. I wish this can be got out the way a little bit more, but that's okay. That's okay. All right, guys. I don't know if you can see up there.
Yeah.
Right here.
Yep.
All right, those are the 2 bolts we got to get out. 1 and 2. So we got to get a wrench. But before we do that, we're gonna go up on top and we're gonna take off the belt. We'll be right back.
Hey, I don't see the bolts though.
They're actually going that way, so you can see the head of it right there.
Oh.
The other one's inside there.
I see. Okay, we'll be right back.
All right, we'll be right back. All right, guys, here we go at the top. Now this pulley right here, the idle pulley, that's bolted to that bracket that's in front of that alternator, so we can't get that out if that's in the way. But we gotta take this belt off first. So what you want to do is grab your T50 Torx socket, and right there, that bolt right there, or a 60 or 55 and grip it. But don't even worry about that. That's the other. Don't even worry about that. And you want to grab it here, and you want to go like you're tightening. Put the socket right there, and watch what happens. You want to hold it. Take one hand so you can brace it so you don't strip it out. You want to go like you're tightening, and when you're tightening, see how it loosens up the belt? So you're gonna tighten, let go. Hold the belt, take it off the water pump, and then release it back. Just like that. Take the belt off. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we got the belt off. The next thing we're gonna do, there's 2 ways of doing this. One, you can remove the pulley, take off the T50 right here, unscrew it, because you got to get to that bolt behind there. But I don't like doing that. I like taking a 16mm deep 3/8 drive and the big bolt right there. We're gonna go ahead and just pop that loose, and we're gonna take off the whole assembly. All right, let's get this bolt out of there, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, we got this bolt out of there. Leave it in there. Take it right off. That would give us much more room so you can see what we're doing. All right, now to put this back, as you can see, there's this part that protrudes out right here. It goes right in there as an alignment. So when you put that back, all right. So let's take this off. And while we're over here, you got an electrical connector right here. Don't take off this one yet. This one right here, you got 2 tabs. One right there and one right there. You got to squeeze those tabs into the connector and pick up on the hole in connector. So squeeze them in and pick it up. Lean that to the side. Do not disconnect that one yet, because before we take that off, we got to disconnect the negative side of the battery, and we haven't done that yet.
Why can't we do that in the beginning?
Because I didn't have time for that. All right, so we're going to put this in the party line, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back up under the vehicle. Now, what you want to get is you either a 13mm wrench, a long one will be good, 6-point, 12-point, it doesn't matter, or for quickness, you want to do a speed wrench, or one of these speed wrenches. And what that does is, it's a wrench, but inside here is like a ratchet. So I ain't got to take the bolt off, do that, do that. All right, so we're going to reach up there. Wait, before we do that, let's hear another uncle joke.
Jeez.
Yeah, buddy.
What is clever and fits in your hand?
What is money? Money fits in your hand and it's clever.
It's not clever.
Money. What is it?
A smartphone.
Boo! Alright, let's get up and do this. Alright, let's get our speed wrench up here. And you can see I'm hooking up right to there. And it looks like once I loosened it, you can see me turning it out.
What?
Here, matter of fact, let me get to the other one. You can see that one better.
Can we?
You can see my whole pulley move right here. And I don't know, guys, you ain't gonna be able to see this too well, but I'm trying to. If you want me to take
Well,
the
stay
camera,
in one spot.
I'm trying to help you out.
No,
Dang it.
you're not helping me. But keep moving around.
All right. You can see right there, then.
I see your fingers.
My fingers. You don't see the bolt.
No.
But see, I'm trying to help out. See what? You know.
I see something, but you keep moving.
All right, there we go. Got one bolt out.
I see it now.
All right, now I got to reach back here and get the other bolt. We'll be right back. All right, guys. Now you're on the top looking down at the pulley. All right. So I'm gonna finish taking out this bolt, one bolt. Okay. And the bracket comes off. Let me get this bolt out of here. And actually, guys, this bolt back here is hitting up against the compressor. So we're gonna leave that bolt in there. All right, let's put this down. Let's take the other bolt we got and screw it in here so we don't lose it. And we'll be right back. All right, guys, we're in the trunk right now. And what I'm gonna do is, here's our negative terminal right over here. And I got a special surprise for you guys and Jimmy. All right, first of all, what we're gonna do, loosen that up. Don't take the nut off all the way, just loosen it up. Go in there, take the terminal off, and what you wanna do is tuck that down to the side. You wanna make sure that thing don't spring back into action, touch this off, and then you're gonna shut it off, then the customer car don't start, and then you're gonna blame it on your customer. You say, well, this is going on with your car don't start, you need a computer. All right, let's close this up. And Jimmy, take a look at over here in the trunk. Jimmy had a box, and what's in the box? Jeez, yeah, I am not dainty. What's in the box is Jimmy bought a used alternator. Now, guys, look at this alternator. What the heck was bolt?
Show that ground.
This is a 180 amp alternator right here. I don't know what all this is, but so now here's the question: what the heck? Okay, do Jimmy put?
Is that a dent?
I don't know. Do Jimmy put this alternator in the car? Do he want us to put this one in the car? Of course, we put it in there. Of course, you know there's no warranty on it for now. What's wrong with Jimmy's alternator is that it's squealing. The bearings is bad. His is charging on. So this one like it had a lot of oil leak and everything on it. Do we put this one in the car?
Antifreeze, right? Because those are antifreeze marks on there, the white stuff.
No, that's so good. I thought it was in the front when I seen it, but no, it's not. So do we put this one in there? Do Jimmy put this one?
It's rusted too.
Yeah, it's rusted. Do Jimmy have us put this one in here, or do he go get a brand new one? All right, guys, we're gonna leave it to you.
Tell Jimmy what to do.
Tell Jimmy what to do. Now you know Astro. We're gonna put. We'll go ahead. We'll put it in. If it don't work, we'll get paid to get to do it. How good? We'll do it. So put it in the comment section below. What should Jimmy do? All right. Let's go back to his car and get the old one out. That is the whole one. All right, we'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back at the car. Grab your 17mm deep socket 3/8 drive with your 3/8 drive ratchet, and we're gonna take off this bolt this nut right here that's holding on the battery cable. All right, so let's get that off, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, we took the nut off. Let's take the battery cable off, tuck it over to the side, and now we got a bunch of 10mm bolts. If we count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So let's get us. We're gonna check this out, guys. Well, I don't know. Let's see if the pole driver would fit in there. If the pole driver fits in there, I'd rather use the pole driver. I guess I can use the pole driver on this. All right, we'll be right back. All right, guys, I got my pole driver. I like this thing. This thing is cool. All right, now I got my pan down there, my drain pan, because when we take this out, there should be some more antifreeze coming in there. So we're gonna start off with the bolt way at the bottom. And I got my 10mm shallow on the pole driver. Okay, let's take that bolt out, and there's one bolt. Let's put this to the side, and what we're gonna do is go around and take off the others. All right, we'll be right back. All right, guys, I got all the bolts out. There are 6 bolts holding this in, and what you do is take them out carefully to make sure all of them are the same length. Go down here, and they are. And see if this moves a little bit. So let's go in here. Look at that. All right, let's go put this to the side with the other one. We'll be right back. All right, guys, here we go. All right, it is a 180 amp alternator, so both of them are the same. But here's his, and here's the one that's going in there. I don't know. Let's give him a call and find out. We'll be right back. Here we go, guys. Yeah, Jimmy wants us to install this one. He said, could you ask Tim, could he clean it up? I don't know.
Yeah, I see that pulley has a dent.
Yeah, they dropped it. This pulley has a dent right there, and you see that? Yeah. Also, Sylvia before mentioned they dropped it over here too. Look at the housing. That's cracked. Let's go over here and compare the two.
But he said he will take responsibility if it's no
yeah,
good.
He'll take responsibility. All right, so
Jimmy's one of the good customers.
yeah, he's definitely a good customer, because I mean, and actually, wait a minute here. Yeah, because I would have, if it was another customer, I would have threw it in just like that. I was like, I ain't doing nothing.
We wouldn't even have questioned it. We would have just done it.
Here you go. But he's very, very good customer, so I hope everything works out. Okay, first of all, we gotta get a 15/16 half-inch drive socket, and what we're gonna do is swap over these pulleys. All right, so let me start the compressor up so we get some air, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, we built up some air. Let's go over here. Yeah, let's see if we can get this one up. There we go. See that, guys? This is his was making all that noise. This bearing is shot. Look at all that grease coming out of that bearing. This thing was whining like crazy. Put this over on this one. Okay. And let's tighten this. And we're ready. Oh, wait a minute here. Dang it, why didn't I think about this? The gasket. It's got a gasket around here that keeps the antifreeze inside. Dang it. We're gonna have to get us a new gasket. Alright guys, let's see. We're gonna call up Fisher, see if Fisher got one. We'll be right back. Alright guys, let's just get this out because Fisher do not have one. Jimmy, sorry, it's gonna be another 2 or 3 days before you get your car back because we just ordered one online. So we're gonna do is take a pick and pick this thing. You know what? I'm gonna have Civvy do it.
Why?
Yeah, that's right. Take my gloves off.
Why?
Let's trade places, go around.
So what does that mean? You're gonna tell us a joke? Are you gonna tell us a joke?
I don't know no jokes. Tell us a joke while you're doing that.
No.
Come on, tell us a joke.
Kind of hard to get it in there.
We scrape it and go pick it up along. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, I know I got a sucky camera. I wasn't even watching.
So what you
That's
saying
good.
yeah for?
Look at that. Yeah, buddy. Go ahead, Civvy. There you go.
There.
Alright guys, so we ordered a new one. Because I ain't going to sit here. Now, again guys, if this was a customer's car, a customer
we don't care about.
Yeah, don't care about too much. I'd have threw that in there like you wouldn't believe. That's why it's always good to stick with one mechanic. Yeah, buddy. That's right. Alright. So we're at a standstill. Dang, that was a quick part too. Tell us a joke.
What kind of data has a big bite?
What kind of data has a big bite? Megabyte.
I'm gonna stop telling jokes. That's what I'm gonna do. You can't be telling the punchline.
But I'll just get. What about there's gigabyte?
No, megabyte.
All right, Uncle joke. Boo. All right, we'll be right back. All right, guys. Last we left off, we took the old O-ring out of here. Here's our new. Well, not O. Well, I won't say O-ring. We're gonna take us a wire brush because we want to make sure we get all that dirt inside of there because we want to make sure there's nothing wrong when this thing seals. We want to make sure it's good. So I'm gonna go around it with the wire brush. Make sure we clean out inside that groove like it's going. Yeah, maybe I could use a new brush, but oh well. So let's get that done and we'll be right back. All right, guys, we got it all cleaned out. Let's open up our new gasket here.
We open at the top.
Huh?
We open at the top.
Oh well. All right, let's get this set over. Push this down. Make sure it's setting in those grooves. And there we go. It is in. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to turn it. I want to move it to make sure like I'm moving it around, getting it lined up and all. Make sure that the gasket don't come back out of there and it stayed in. All right, let's get our bolts and bring it over to the engine. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're ready to put our alternator in. we have our 6 10mm bolts. I'm gonna set these up somewhere. Get ready and position the alternator. And I noticed taking it out, the plug is facing straight up. So we're gonna go to.
Be considered 12 o'clock.
Yes, it would be. Can you see where I'm at?
Yeah.
All right. Gonna put the alternator in. All right. I see the bolt hole right here is gonna line up with that one right there. So.
I know the subscribers are going to be like, oh, finally we get to see what's happening.
All right, let's start that one off. It's not. And you notice I'm trying to get this bolt started before I push this alternator in all the way. All right. So it's easier to line up because then you can move it around. If I push in, it won't. All right, let's get these other bolts started and we'll be right back. All right, guys, we got all our bolts started. Very important, get the bolts started by hand first so you can make sure they're not being cross-threaded. The next thing we'll do, grab your big bill ratchet. Yeah, buddy. With a 10mm deep 3/8 drive ratchet socket, and we just want to use this. I mean, you can use a regular ratchet. I'm using this to just bring these in more. Not tighten them up, just bring them in more. All right, let's do that, and we'll be right back. Huh? All right, guys, I got them in. Next thing we'll do is switch over to my regular 3/8 drive ratchet with a 4-inch 3/8 drive extension and my 10mm deep socket 3/8 drive. And I'm gonna go around and tighten these up. And what you wanna do is just turn them, go till they stop, and just a little bit more. You don't have to go super tight. That's all you have to do is bring it flush. And that's it, because that seal is gonna do everything, do the rest. So we go around to each one till it stops, and a little bit more. All right, let's get that done, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, we got the alternator bolted up. This is great. The next thing we're gonna do is take our electrical connectors. Here's one right here. And actually, here's the other one. Let's see how this is. Make sure we're gonna, yeah, okay. This one going first. Push it down. Then we put this one on. And we take our 17mm bolt right here, nut. Put that on. Again, started turning it by hand first, so we don't cross thread it. Then take your 17mm deep 3/8 drive, and I'm using my 4-inch extension as well. And we'll go in there, and as soon as it stops, just a little bit more, that's it. Be very careful working in this area because you have your radiator right here, and you do not want to hit that radiator and damage that radiator. All right, we'll be right back. All right, guys, the next thing, we're up under the vehicle. We're gonna put our idler pulley on, and there's 2 bolts in here, 13mm bolts. One of them we left in here. One of them is still up there because you couldn't take it out because it was hitting up against the AC compressor. So we left it right up in there. So let's go up in there, and it sits right here. Before I put it in, let me know you gotta.
Well, I mean, I got good lighting, but your hand's kind of in the way, which, okay. So right below the alternator pulley?
Right there.
Okay.
And we take, here's one bolt already in there. So what we're going to do is take our other one, put it from behind, and get that in there. And what we're going to try to do is try to turn this and get this to start screwing into there, so we don't, make sure we don't cross thread it. All right, that's one. Now I'll move this one over and get this one started. And I'm actually turning with these 2 fingers right here, which is not that easy. But okay, great. I got both of them started. Now what I'm going to do here is take my two. Now if you got a speed wrench, put your speed wrench up in there and get that, but I don't have mine, so I'm going to sit here and turn. Hey, that's an easy way. Take both my fingers like that and bring both of them in. Can't do that one though. So let's get that done and we'll be right back. Alright, I brought them in by hand. Now I'm going to get my 13mm and I'm going to use my 12 point wrench, because then I can easily adjust it. Because like right now I can only turn a little bit at a time. A 6 point, I wouldn't be able to take it off and put it up there again. So it's good to use a 12 point. So I'm going to bring both of those in and tighten them up. Again, a speed wrench would be a lot easier, but oh well. So let's get those tightened up and we'll be right back. Alright guys, that is done. This is looking good. The next thing we're going to do, we got our stabilizer bar right here. Let's get this lined up. And we got to go over here. There's two, this side got to line up on the two holes. Get this out of the way. Get this one. Get one of them up there. Okay, got our 13mm nuts. Let's put one right there just to hold that into place. Then I'm gonna go over this side and get this one up into place. Okay, make sure everything out of the way. All right, let's get our 4 13mm nuts up there. Now the ones on the top are gonna be hard to get to. So what we're gonna do is take two 12-inch 3/8 drive extensions, a 3/8 swivel extension, and a deep 13mm socket. And what you want to do is take the nut, put it in just like that, and you want to go up there and get that one started. Again, make sure you can turn it by hand, because if you don't turn it by hand, then that thing's going crooked. And of course, I can't get this to turn by hand. Okay, I got it up there. You know what? That's going to be a little problem. So what I'm going to do here, start this off, I am going to use my swivel 13mm socket. Huh? There it is. All right, we got that started. So let's get the other one done. Over here, same thing, we gotta use the extension and all. And remember this, we took off right here. I can see it right straight down that way. So let's get this on and we'll be right back. All right, we got them started. Now I'm gonna switch back over to my 13mm deep socket. Get the pole driver. I'm gonna go up here. I'm gonna set this socket. This is why I got tape on this. It looks like I'm gonna put some more tape on here, because you put tape on there, then you don't have to, it won't turn so much. So let me get some more tape on this and I'll be right back. All right guys, here we go. I'm gonna wipe this off. And this is a cool little trick, because these joints do wear out and then they all messed. You can't even work with them or nothing. So just get you some black tape.
Why does it have to be black? Why can't it be pink?
Well, fine, then get your pink tape. Just the pink tape is only going to look good one time. And you want to just keep on wrapping it. We're going to wrap this. Matter of fact, while I'm wrapping it, how about a joke from Sylvia?
Okay. Where should you never, ever, ever take your dog shopping?
Where should you never, ever, ever take your dog shopping? Supermarket. Dog store.
What's your answer, Dad Bandit?
Supermarket.
Why a supermarket?
I don't know, because they'll eat everything.
No.
Where?
The flea market.
Alright, that one was alright. That ain't too bad of an Uncle Joe. Okay. I can dig it. Alright, so we got that done. You see what I mean? I can bend it a little bit. Go in here to my top one. Get my pawl driver. Tighten them up. Alright, let's do the rest of them and we'll be right back. Alright guys, we got those done. Now we got our power steering line over here. Remember this little 10mm nut we took out right there. So we got our little 10mm nut. Let's put this on. Get our pawl driver with our 10mm deep 3/8 drive socket. Tighten that right up. That is done. This is cool. Everything looking good up under here. Alright, let's get to the top. We'll be right back. Alright guys, we're back onto the top. We're going to get our cooler over here. Now, our cooler, remember before, it has the clip to hold this thing in. Is right here. To lock it, we're just going to push it forward. To unlock it, push it back. So we're going to twist it over to here. It goes onto the bottom of the radiator right there. And on the top, it hooks on right to here. So what we got to do is hook it onto the top first. Bring it into the radiator. Push it in, just like that. Reach up under here, the clip, the little lever, push it up. Locked into place. Great, the next thing we're going to do, we're going to get our belt tensioner, and it mounts up right here. Alright, here's our belt tensioner, and you notice there's this little part that sticks up right here. That's going to go into that little groove insert right there. So we're going to put that right there. Start our bolt turning. Alright, and we'll be right back. Alright, we got our 16mm deep 3/8 drive with a big bill ratchet. Let's go ahead in there. Tighten that up. Perfect. Yeah, buddy. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright guys, now we do got hoses and all the hookup right here, but according to the party line, the shroud is next. This is why it's so important for the party line. Now, if you see this little piece over here, it's going to set into the radiator right there. And then you got one on the other side right here. And remember when we took this apart, this one over here folds in and out. Make sure we get it in over there. So let's lower this down. Get it lined up to where it's supposed to be. Well, that's why the hoses wasn't going in there next. Because to get this thing down in there. So. And this thing. There we go. Okay, finally. Whoops, this side ain't down. And this one had the harness going through it, so. Gotta get this harness around this thing. Okay, then our harness goes through here, around here. Okay, and this hook up, we gotta hook the first part, this part in first, and then pull it back and let it latch onto the back part. Okay. Alright, let's get our screws to screw this down and we'll be right back. Alright guys, let's bolt this down. We got 4 T25 Torx screws. They go right here. 1, 2. Now the other 2 is further down there. You got 1 over there, and over here you got 1 down there. Now to put your screw in there without dropping it, what you want to do, we got our pole driver with our T25 bit up there. Take the thing out, get you a piece of paper. As you can see, that's Target. Take a piece of paper, put it over the bit, and then put your screw up there. Well, maybe we got double the paper. Or triple the paper. I don't know. Or triple the paper. You just want to get enough layers up there so you can get that on there like that. And get it right there and lower it down into there. Just like that. Alright, let's do the other side and we'll be right back. Alright, we got it done. Hook back up our pole driver and let's bring those 4 in. Alright, be right back. Alright, guys, let's get this. Alright, lassies. That's what I'm about to say. Let's get this belt on. I got a T60 Torx socket with a 1/2-inch drive, and you're gonna go like you're tightening. And what you're gonna do here is it's gonna insert into that hole right there on the tensioner. You see that pretty good?
Okay.
All right, so let's get our belt on. Let's start from around our harmonic balancer. Okay, let's go up under. Dang it, this is. We gotta go up under the AC compressor, way down there. Go around it. Yeah, I bet it is, right? This thing. Then go around the idler.
Around how?
I can get it around here. I can show you. Alright. So, it's good. Well, this is off right now. There we go. Put this on. Alright, so it's going around the AC compressor.
Under?
Then go, I don't know about under, because under is over here. So it's going to the left side of the idler, then to go around the idler, then go around under and over the alternator. Alright, then let's go over back down here around the tensioner. Alright, then it's going to go over here, make sure everything lined up around the water pump. But it's not going to make it around the water pump, because now what we do, gotta make sure everything is lined up. Put the tool in it, and notice how I got the belt going under my tool. And then it goes around, dang it. Around the water pump. Came right off the... Alright, now before I remove my tool, I'm going to make sure that all my pulleys, the belt is lined up in all the grooves. And of course it's a little bit off right here, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do is just get that to go on a little bit more. And that's it. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright, the next thing we got is our cooling fan. So now our cooling fan is going to go down here, and it's going to go on the front of the water pump, and you're going to put that on. Now it don't put on like a regular, it's this reverse thread. So to put it on, we got to go backwards. And this might get a little thing here to get this lined up and turned. And once you get it by a couple threads, like that, and we're good to go. So the next thing you're gonna do is grab you a 1 1/4 inch wrench. Now this thing was kind of hard coming off, but putting it back on, you don't have to go so crazy and tighten it up. Especially you want to be careful about your coolant sensor up here and your sensor over here. That's the reason why we took off the hoses and all, so we wouldn't hit this with that. So what we're gonna do is go ahead and bring this in till it stops. We'll be right back. Alright guys, we got that brought in. And what you want to do is take your 1 1/4 inch wrench, put it in there, get it on. Make sure it don't hit this sensor. Get you a nice hammer and just like that. Get this out, and just like I said,
Well, you know how far this go?
well, it's not how far to go. You just go until it stops and you're just hitting it a few times.
Oh.
Because to put this fan on, we have to go this way, but the engine spins this way. So as long as that engine's running, it's constantly tightening that bolt up. That's why they're so hard to come off. All right, guys, we got that done, and we'll be right back. All right, the next thing we're gonna do, guys, is put our shield right here. And you're gonna see like these big plastic screws right here. You can take them out if you want. If not, what they do is just go right in here and hold this, the shroud into place. So if you want, you can screw them out on both sides. Bring this up there, put it into place, and get all your T30 bolts. Start them all by hand. And then once we get this down, then we can actually just bring this down till it stops. So let's get all these started into there, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, now we got our T30 bit on our pole driver. Let's go ahead, tighten all these up. And once we get these all tightened up, these right here, just bring those down by hand until it stops. That's it. All right, let's get this done and we'll be right back. All right, guys, let's start putting our hoses on. Before we put our hoses on, you want to make sure that the clips are pulled out. Make sure there's no dirt or nothing in there. Okay, this one is gonna go right here. Push that on. Push the clip in to lock it into place. Done. Then we got this one over here. Now, if you notice, inside of here, you see that little lip right there, the inside, that little groove. So that's so you do not mess up. Don't try to force this on. Make sure that lines up. So just go down, and twist it a little bit.
What's your little light?
Hold on, okay, let me see.
husband.
Okay, so the groove is right there on that one. So we're going to push down, take the clip, lock it into place. Great. Let's go get our other holes. Be right back. All right, now we got our other holes, and what we're going to do is go down here.
Over there is all right, but over here was dark.
We're going to hold the light on here. I got to go over here to this one. We're going to go down here and hook up this one first. Get this hose out of the way. And we got to make sure that it's gonna line up. You know what, let's go over and hook this one first, the big one. Okay, got this one up. Now let's lock that into place. Now let's go over here. Okay, that one's down. Let's reach in here, pull that clip in. Then we got this big one right here that goes over to here. Can you see here?
Here?
Right there. See where the light is?
There's another hole in my leg. Oh, yeah, there you go.
Gotta hold the light from there. Gotta hold this side. Okay, lock that into place. All right, now we still got one right here that we gotta push down on it. Lock that into place, and then we got our big one. Last but not least, our one up here. The heck? Is that all? That like you gotta go more than that. There we go. Into place. Great, everything is looking good. We'll be right back. Alright, now we got our bleed hose, which goes, and always, you know, make sure the clip is pulled up. Let's hook this one up into there. Let's run it around to this channels. Snap into place, and then it goes over here to the top of the radiator. Put that on, and we're going to get us a screwdriver and tighten that clamp up. We'll be right back. Alright guys, the next thing we do, get our mass airflow sensor. We got a little vacuum hose going right here, so we want to make sure we hook that up. Then let's get our wiring harness around it like this, and at the same time make sure those clips are out, and we got to get it onto our throttle body. Great. Okay, take the clips, lock it into place on both sides. Let's plug it up. And we're going to tighten up that clamp right there. And make sure both these clamps are tight, because you do not want air leaking in after this mass airflow. And then once we do that, we're going to take our antifreeze and we're going to start filling the system up. There's no special bleed valve or anything, because as I said before, this is the bleed right here. So that's what we're doing, is filling it up, and it'll bleed by itself. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright guys, we got it done. Let's close this off. Then we're going to pop the trunk and connect our battery. We'll be right back. Alright guys, we're in the trunk. Let's reach down. You can see our negative terminal down there. Let's see it. Bring it up here. Put it onto the post. We got our 10mm deep 3/8 drive with our 12-inch 3/8 drive extension and our 3/8 drive ratchet. And we're going to go down there, tighten that up. put the covers back, and we'll be right back. Alright guys, got the keys. While you're checking this out over here, you want to back up just a little bit just in case there's stuff flying everywhere.
Oh, that's nice.
And let me start it up. Ready, Jimmy? Is it gonna be fixed or it's gonna cost you another $200? Jimmy is high laughing.
Yeah, it's not funny.
Alright. Sounds good. We'll let this run for about 15 minutes because before, when it was cold, it wasn't really squealing. It waited for a little bit. Actually, when you drove it here, it was cold.
It was squealing like a pansy.
Alright, we're going to let it run for a few minutes. In the meantime, while it's running, we're going to put the engine cover back and the cover's over here. We'll be right back. Alright guys, it's been running for about 15 minutes. If you hear it, I hear a very faint squeal. Man, that's not good. I still hear a squeal though. Let me hit the gas a little bit. Now it's getting a little louder. It's definitely not loud as it was. So this is the suck part about getting used parts. We don't know. Alright, we'll be right back. Alright guys, we let it run for a little bit longer. That little bitty squeal seemed to went away. But I don't know. I don't know if it's going to come back or not. But right now, it's very quiet. Alright, Jimmy, so as we go, I don't know, dang it. I'm going to let it run for a little bit longer and we're going to find out.